Hi, I'm Matt, and in this video we are going to go over one of the important gas laws known as Boyle's Law. Before we actually get into Boyle's Law, we have to go over what pressure and what volume is. So pressure is the force exerted on a container by the particles inside of it. We usually measure it in atmospheres, pascals or kilopascals, torr, or millimeters of mercury. Generally, though, we're going to use atmospheres or kilopascals. The other important definition is volume. Volume is the amount of space an object, such as gas particles, take up, and we usually measure volume in liters. So Boyle's law states that the pressure of a gas is inversely proportional to its volume, assuming that temperature remains constant. This means that as volume increases, pressure decreases, and as volume decreases, pressure increases. They always move in opposite directions. More specifically, having one variable will cause the other variable to double. So if we halve the volume, the pressure will double. And if we double the volume, the pressure will halve. To understand this, let's look at these two particle diagrams. We see on the left that the pressure is 2 atmospheres and the volume is 2 liters. On the right, we have the volume to 1 liter, and that causes the pressure to become 4 atmospheres. That's because remember that pressure is the force of the molecules hitting the side of the container. At a smaller volume, the molecules hit the walls of the container more frequently, causing an increased amount of force, causing an increased amount of pressure. Another important thing with Boyle's law is what the graph looks like. Since there's an inverse relationship, the graph of pressure versus volume creates a downward sloping curve, as you see on the right. So far, everything we've done has been qualitative. Now we're going to mathematically work with Boyle's law. And the equation for Boyle's law is written as P1V1 equals P2V2, where P1 is the initial pressure, V1 is the initial volume, P2 is the new pressure, and V2 is the new volume. So our equation is that the initial pressure times the initial volume has to be equal to the new pressure multiplied by the new volume. Let's try some examples with this. For our first example with Boyle's law, we have that a sample of gas has an initial pressure of 2 atmospheres and an initial volume of 10 liters. If the pressure is increased to 4 atmospheres, what is the new volume? So the first thing we're going to do whenever we do a question with Boyle's law is we're going to write the formula. P1V1 equals P2V2. And then we're going to go to the side and write what each of those variables stands for. So P1 is our initial pressure, which we are told is 2 atmospheres. Next, our initial volume, we're told is 10 liters. Our new pressure, we are told, is 4 atmospheres. And our new volume is what we're solving for. So we're going to leave it as a question mark for now. And then we're going to plug in what we have. So we have 2 times 10 equals 4 times V2, because we don't know what it is. That gives us 20 equals 4 times V2. To get V2 by itself, we'll divide by 4 and get that V2, or our new volume, is equal to 5 liters. And that makes sense because our pressure increased, so our volume must have decreased. So our final answer is V2 equals 5 liters. We're going to try another one together. So here we have a sample of gas has an initial pressure of 6 atmospheres, and after the volume was increased to 15 liters, the pressure became 2 atmospheres. What is the initial volume? So just like in the last question, we're going to write our formula first. P1V1 equals P2V2, and then we're going to write our givens. we're told that our initial pressure is 6 atmospheres. And then we don't know what V1 is. That's what we're looking for. And next, we were told that after the volume was increased, the pressure became 2 atmospheres. So that is going to be our new pressure. And then we're told that the volume was increased to 15 liters, so that will be our V2. Next, we're going to plug in. Now, I know I did it in the last question, but really you want to plug in with units, so I'm going to do that here. And once we write that out, we could combine the 2 and the 15 to give us 30 equals 6 times V1. And then we could divide by 6 to get V1 by itself. So we get that our initial volume, or V1, is equal to 5 liters. And that is our final answer. Now that we've done some questions together, here are 4 questions for you to try on your own. The first one asked what 2 variables Boyle's law discusses. Question 2 asked what does a pressure versus volume graph look like. Question 3 says, if the volume of a gas is doubled, what will happen to the pressure? And then question 4 is a mathematical question. At this time, I encourage you to pause the video, and the answers will be provided to these questions on the next slide. The solutions are as follows. Boyle's law discusses the relationship between pressure and volume. The shape of a graph between pressure and volume is a downward sloping curve, as seen here. If volume is doubled, the pressure will be halved. And then for question 4, you should have gotten that the new pressure is 1 atmosphere. Hopefully you got these. If not, feel free to leave any questions you have in the comments below, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.